It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
In the year 247, in the Age of Judges, Vartan was summoned home by a letter stating that his father had died under mysterious circumstances. Upon returning home, Vartan opened his mind that the possibility that his father's death and his hometown of Eterno was not everything that it appeared to be. Welcome to Ethereal Embrace. Did you know that there used to be mosquitoes the size of dogs? Swamp giants ended up inventing these magic lamps that would attract the bugs and then zap them to death. I'm glad I don't live in the age of giants.
Day 3. Evening. The Hidden Cave.
I'm going to whisper to y'all, I'm like, do you think we should take them out of here the way we came in?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
So we're just going to stay behind while they just go?
Or walk back with them.
We could walk back with them.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Letting anyone know that we have a
here's the problem.
Teleport to here.
Yeah, here's the problem.
I don't have my corset anymore.
His corset's gone.
It's going to seem suspicious that we can teleport in and out of here at will.
Yeah.
And that's information that could be useful for us to just be able to show up here at a moment's notice without anybody knowing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we trust these two, yeah?
Bastille sent the message instead of Brasscane.
Well, that's...
And Bastille's also an outsider.
Yeah, Bastille sent it. Just, I assume Brasscane doesn't
did anybody
have magic.
Look? Yeah. Did anybody look at the message before he sent it, or is that how?
No, I thought about maybe we should read that, but I didn't.
Brasscane, do you have any sending stones in the armory?
Yeah, I've got a few.
All right. So, do you have anybody else you trust to tail somebody that won't give themselves away, other than just the one?
Yeah, I could get one more.
All right. Can you make sure they got plenty of sending stones to check in with you pretty regularly? Maybe every hour.
Yeah, I'll have her do that for us right away.
All right. I'm gonna pull him away from Bastille.
Who's her?
I said pull him away.
No, but Brasscane said her.
Yeah, I just have two NPCs. One guy, one girl that you can trust to tail people without being found. We can give them names if you want.
No, I don't care. They can be nameless villagers.
Yeah. Villager 1, Villager 2. Or guard person 1, guard person 2.
Tina Turner and Ike Turner.
There you go.
That Ike doesn't seem very trustworthy.
You think you can have that other one track Magno and have both of them that are following Cody and Magno check in with you every hour?
Yeah, I'll tell Tina and Ike to do that.
All right. Appreciate it. I guess it's time to get out of here.
Yep, got a long hike back.
So you guys do hike back?
Can I fit through there?
Okay, so you guys do move about 20 minutes down the path, and you come to a spot, and it's a hole. It's about 2.5 feet largest at its at its like point. So you can get in and shimmy pretty much, but it looks like it goes for probably 300 feet. It's probably about the size of a football field that you can see that you've got to shimmy through this in armor.
But I can do it
with your weapon. You could definitely do it. It's just not going to be comfortable, and this is why they were curious before.
Suck in that gut, push out that chest.
Well, like I said, it tore up my corset when I came in, so it's a little bit harder to get out, so bear with me.
Do you want me to go first?
Bastille
says.
It's
probably best. Yeah.
All right, so little old Bastille climbs into the spot and starts shimmying just fine. Like, he's not having any problems at all, but you can see it's lit up in front of him, and he's got some good movement. But he slows down and waits for you to hop in and start shimmying.
Yeah, I'm going.
So there's no checks or anything for this. You do eventually make it out of the football field long spot, and it does pop back out. And then the cave itself where you're at is only about 5.5 feet tall, where it pops back out. So you're still kind of crouched for a while as you walk. The entire path itself, from where you left the room to the point where you come out of the cave entrance, is about a 2-hour walk. When you come out of the entrance, it is a hole in the ground that slants just under a moss-covered hill. And the hole itself is only, again, about a 2.5 foot large entrance. So you've got to shimmy out of it, but that's just the hole. And then you're back into the woods. Brasscane and Bastille walk confidently, but you can also see the tracks on the ground where the Zill left from the cave mouth and headed back toward a trail.
Now, if we had decided to walk there this morning, would we have gotten? I assume we would have gotten there, and those two already been in the room.
Yep.
I'm gonna whisper to Baya and Ovyck and be like, "Hey, is there any way y'all can close that up?"
Ooh.
Probably not subtly.
All right, it was just a thought.
Yeah, we could knock down a tree over it.
Yeah, if you want a lot of noise, sure.
Clear your throat while you fireball. Fireball.
You know what? A tree might actually work out pretty well, because if we come back, if the Zill attack, and I mean, I imagine Zill can cut through a tree eventually, or those demons, whatever the hell,
whatever
Cosmos, they could probably cut through a tree pretty good, right? So maybe if we cover it, we know that somebody else is teleporting in there.
They have fire, so
the chasms.
I knew that. I said it wrong purposefully because I rolled really low earlier.
Got it. Good throwback. I appreciate that.
And then we know somebody's teleporting in there if they cut through the tree to get out.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we can just we can't do it subtly. So if we do it, then the other two are gonna know, and if they are the bad guys,
yeah, you're right.
They'll be aware of the tree beforehand.
Got a whole lot of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my suspicion is very much on Timorin. after everything. He worked with Kyrian. Obviously, one of those footprints is Kyrian's. But the problem is that both sets of the footprints are large. So, and Timorin has tiny footprints.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other person could be. I mean, surely it couldn't be Cody or Magno because they just got to town shortly after your father, or almost after your father had passed.
Okay. Fuck.
What time is it when we get back to town?
Well, I assume you guys know that the Zill attack after dark, so you would have waited till dark before throwing in the towel on the trap, right?
Right.
Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I would say it's getting pretty late. You guys probably had lunch and dinner in the cave while waiting for the trap, and then you probably made it back to town probably around 10 o'clock at night.
Do we want to go pay Greystone a visit, or wait till tomorrow?
I would know who Emery is, right?
Yep.
What race are they?
Half-elf.
Emery is a female half-elf from the Bricks.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk to Greystone. Vartan seems really fucked up right now. Like he's kind of lost in thought, but he's agreeing with you. Like he's very short and stern, agreeing with you.
So do we go to Greystone's house, or his office? I assume is in his house.
Yeah, it's connected.
Okay. Go knock on the door very loudly.
After just a few minutes, you hear him rustling around, and you can hear somebody making their way to the door. And he opens it up and says, "Vartan, what? Did you get my notes?"
What notes?
"I left notes at your house today. I asked you to see me as soon as you got home."
Well, I mean, it's just coincidence we came over here. Had not made it back home yet. Because I wanted to talk to you.
"Please, come in." He stands aside and leaves the door open.
All right. Yeah, I guess we all go in.
"Where have you been?"
I'm going to let y'all take over if you want to talk.
Out.
"I heard what you did last night on Timorin's farm. I heard reports say it was incredible."
They weren't that strong. It was not that big a deal. Now, we need you to tell us exactly what you know about Kyrian's death. Last time we talked, you seemed very evasive, and it's time we need answers.
"Yeah, I agree. It's time to have a real conversation." And he cracks open he goes over to a little liquor cabinet, pulls out a bottle of alcohol, and pours 2 glasses, and holds one for himself and extends one out.
I'll take it. And is there like a couch?
Yeah, there's a couch.
Oh.
Yeah, you're actually in his house, not you're in the house portion of the building, not his office.
Okay. I'll take the drink and sit on the couch and rest my sword, my very large, comically oversized sword, across my knees.
He says, "I've had a lot of time to think over the last 2 days, especially with everything that's going on. And while I have my doubts about your father, and I do think that he still played a role in these creatures coming to our town, I think it's time to tell you. Eterno is a city that's surrounded by magic. I don't know how it works. Your father, Kyrian, had a lot of research and energy into how it worked. I mostly just ran the city as far as the general law and rules went, and Timorin knows of this magic as well, but he handled the more economic portions of the city as far as making sure everyone had jobs and food and things to do. No one would ever go hungry in Eterno. A long time ago in Eterno, we found out that barring any kind of physical issues, we don't die. We live here forever. There is no sickness. There is no old age. A long time ago, when Kyrian and I first came to this understanding, everyone in the city knew. We all were very excited about the magics. Kyrian was one to help identify it and figure out why we weren't dying. And we decided as a community to tell everyone. We didn't hide it from a single person. We tried to keep people out for population control and for expanding the grounds of Eterno, because there is a perimeter to it. There's only a certain amount of land that falls under the magic abilities. What we found was that people began to develop unnatural fears. They became afraid of going out of their house. Physical death could still cause someone to die, so they sheltered themselves away and isolated themselves. They stopped having kids. They stopped communing with each other out of fear that somebody could anger another and attack one of them, or that somebody could have to travel out of the safe zone and be hurt. Education started to go down amongst our people. They started to live in their own lies. At that time, Telmika had identified this and came up with a spell with Emery that allowed everyone to erase their memories. At that point, Telmika, Timorin, and Kyrian were the three that decided they would continue to know with this knowledge, and they would erase the memories of everyone else. Vartan, this is before you were born. It took years of convincing and education from Telmika, but eventually people agreed. And one by one, they wiped their memories, and they lived in peace. Some people then traveled again. They went out and saw the world. They lived fulfilling lives without being afraid and terrified to leave their house. They thought they could die. They thought they eventually would die. And for some reason, that mind-wiping spell helped kind of fog their perception about how long they really live. We set a cap to how many children are born, just to keep the population again under control. It was something that everyone agreed to before they had their mind wiped. For a long time, Telmika headed this up, and then she eventually felt like it began to wear on her. She gave reins up to me, and I took over as the third person, and Telmika wiped her own memory and just went to being a normal temple priestess. The reason I'm telling you this is so that you understand when I say, when you were back in town and earlier on, I feel like I upset you, but I asked you if you had intended to stay. I asked you if you had intended to take on your father's responsibilities. And that's because I want to know if you could be the third. Timorin and I disagree here. We both agree on one fact, that your father seems to have triggered the events that lead to the Zill coming into the town. I don't know what he was working on. My personal assumptions are that he was trying to expand the boundaries of this magic field farther, so that we could have a higher population here in town. Or we could bring in outsiders to enjoy our way of life. That caused whatever chain reaction that brought the Zill and these flying creatures into town. Timorin thinks that you are not the best fit. Timorin believes that Cody is the best fit, and Cody already seems to have knowledge about our town, though he pretends not to. He acts as if he is a simple tavern owner, and we all know that cannot be true. So that is where our argument has come into play. Do you or Cody take the reins? I personally think Cody's not even interested in being the third, but I also think he won't let us wipe his mind. And we won't do it without someone's express consent and understanding. That also puts Magno at odds, seeing how much she idolizes Cody. Will he eventually tell her? I don't know. So there it is. That's what I have. That was why I asked for you to meet with me today.
Huh.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility on just 3 people. In an entire town.
Yes, I haven't had the responsibility for more than 2 centuries. It is a lot, though.
How long has Timorin been bearing this weight?
I couldn't tell you. Time seems to go by differently when you know you can live forever. It seems Timorin and Kyrian couldn't really put a number on it. But I do know that Kyrian waited a long time to have a child because he knew of the population issues.
What about my mother? How did she even die?
Your mother left the town. Kyrian tried to get other people to talk her out of going, but she said she needed to go travel for a while. I don't know if they were having problems or if she just wanted education, but she was a good spellcaster. She knew a lot of magics. And she felt that she had learned everything that she could learn in this town and wanted to study at some of the other colleges. So she left. Shortly after she had left, we got a report back saying that she had been killed.
You got a report from outside of town?
Yeah, from a ship captain. That is why your father was so opposed to you leaving town when you did. Why you had that falling out just before you left town.
Yeah. Yeah, I never knew how she died.
So you don't let knowledge of Eterno leave Eterno, right?
We do our best to hold it in.
How often do people leave the village?
Not as frequently as you might think. There are a lot of people who do want to go, but when it comes down to it, moving out into the wide unknown takes a special kind of person. It's hard to leave everything you know behind to go adventure. You know that more than most. You can't simply just pick up and go and cut all ties unless there's a reason pushing you away. Seeing that we don't have any issues with money or food or anything, really the only thing that people leave the town for is boredom.
Out of character, Bastille said he read about Eterno in books, didn't he?
Yeah, yep. He read that there was a church here, a temple here.
Okay, well, that wouldn't be... Was that all the information he told us?
Yeah, he said he read that there was a temple here, that he learned about the temple, and that he wanted to investigate more about it because there wasn't ever any reports or correspondence from that temple.
Right, okay.
Huh. So actually I have a few questions that maybe you could enlighten me on. I know that you don't want the information getting out, but we do have a couple new people here. How do you handle that? So I know Bastille is new, Cody, Magno, newer to this town in the last decade.
Cody is a member of the city now. And him buying in he got approval from Kyrian. And there's not much that I can do outside of that. We discussed it between the three, me, Timorin, and Kyrian, and those two decided it would be okay to let him stay. We assume that Magno and Bastille will be on their way shortly.
So, are there protection spells that have been cast to keep information about the city out, or to keep people from coming here?
No. The city itself seems to deter people. It's nothing that we've cast. It's just part of the enchantment that seems to help us live forever. It almost makes us... I don't know if you've ever had the feeling that something was in the corner of your eye, but you just can't place it. The city seems to give that feeling to outsiders as they pass around it. Go a long way around. For whatever reason, they move somewhere else. As far as when people really do learn about what Eterno is, they decide to stay. Who initially wants to give up eternal life to go back to wherever? It's really tough sometimes to communicate with the outside world, so even the people who do decide to adventure here typically don't have close relationships, otherwise why would they adventure here? To nowhere. And then on top of that, those people generally don't want to go back to their lives once they find out they can have an eternal life here.
That makes sense as to why long-distance blood relatives wouldn't have really any contact. Okay, that helps me. What about, have you heard of chasms? Because those were the flying insect demons.
I only heard about chasms this morning after my debrief from Brasscane.
Okay. What about Morsi?
I've never heard of Morsi before. Is that another demon?
Possibly. It's the Zill. They are controlled by Morsi. They do Morsi's bidding.
Interesting.
So Brasscane told you about the chasms?
Yeah, he said that there were other creatures outside of the Zill. He said to keep that under wraps.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Well, what do you know about the chasms? Anything at all?
He said he was still looking into it. He said not to tell anyone else. But I assume, since that you're the ones who brought it up, that you know already.
Yeah.
Insight check? I'll use... I'm back up to 3 inspiration. I'll use... inspiration. I accidentally rolled intimidation, not intimidation. 11. Okay.
You believe that he's telling the truth. I mean, he just unloaded all of the truth on you.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, the fact that Brasscane did share that with him was kind of concerning.
Yeah, so you guys did ask Brasscane not to tell Greystone about it, but Brasscane apparently backtracked on that, told Greystone to keep it a secret. It doesn't appear that he mentioned you guys, otherwise Greystone would know that you already knew about it.
Yeah.
But it does appear that Brasscane has some kind of trust in his relationship with Greystone to tell him.
Okay, and so
and he told him not to say anything to anybody else.
Correct, yep.
And with my 11, I think that he's telling the truth about Morsi. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's all we'll get out of him. Unless y'all have anything else.
Did you ever see Cody and Kyrian together when they were making the deal when he bought in? Like, how did that go down? Was anybody witness to that?
Most of the dealings were at Kyrian's house. Your house, sorry. But we were not privy to those. I believe that Terranil served as witness to the purchase, but with nothing outside of just standard witnessing procedures for the purchase.
Tyrion's the one that found my father dead, too.
Yep.
Now, did you see Cody and Kyrian together at the same time anywhere? Like, in all this time with the tavern and everything like that, did you, by chance, I mean, I know it sounds like a weird question, but did you see them together at any point?
I saw them together several times, but typically in the market or typically working, helping Telmika around the temple. Just general stuff that does not seem suspicious at all.
Okay. All right. So Cody used to help around different places?
Cody still helps if you ask him.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because I asked him to do something for me. Yeah.
So, if you don't have any questions for me, I know that you seemed a little perturbed earlier when I asked you, and I know this is a lot to take in. But what are your intentions now that you're home? Thank you for listening to this episode of Ethereal Embrace, and A Fool's Quest production. Vartan the Furbog Fighter is voiced and played by Adam Culbertson. Baya Rustin, the half-elf sorcerer, is voiced and played by Tisha. Ovyck, the tiefling cleric, is voiced and played by Chris Johnson. And I am Nico, your GM. Please remember to drop us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcatcher. Music provided in part by Midnight Syndicate, makers of the original Dungeons & Dragons soundtrack. If you would like to follow us on social media or say hello to the cast, details on where to find us will be in this episode's notes. Remember, be safe, we love you all, and stay foolish.